I've watched anime for a very long time. I've watched all sorts of stuff, from action-packed Dragon Ball to something a bit more somber like Bunny Girl Senpai. Ha, yes, truly the duality of man. But when you've watched so much anime as long as I have, you tend to run into some weird watches. Now you may point to something like Space Dandy. Overall, a weird show, but in the end, it ends up being super interesting with stunning animation. But what happens when you go deeper into the rabbit hole? Well, if you dig deep enough, you end up watching one of the weirdest series ever made. Today, we're talking about Golden Boy and trying to understand why this series is so strange, but also, why is it even worth watching? But before we keep going, check out the second channel where we do a bunch of fun stuff over there too. Sorry, I don't have a segue because we're in for a weird one. Golden Boy was animated by Production IG. Yes, the same Production IG that animated Haikyuu, Psycho-Pass, and Attack on Titan, Junior High.
You gotta be fucking lying.
Talk about humble beginnings. The manga was published from June 1993 to January 1998. There's only 10 volumes, which translate into 6 episodes, which we're watching today. When I looked around, this anime actually had some pretty decent ratings. This actually surprised me because my initial thought would be that this show did horribly, hence the 6 episodes. Well, let's get into it and actually see what this series is about. So immediately we're introduced to our main hero, Kentaro Oe. He specializes in part-time jobs and travels to different places in order to do them. As he's on his way to his first part-time job, he runs into a car that drives him off the road. The opening plays right after, and honestly, it's probably one of the coolest things about the series. It comes off as so quaint, but at the same time, it's just so cool. It's not even like he's doing anything crazy, Kentaro's just riding his bike. But leave it to an anime studio to make the mundane look so cool. The episode resumes with the driver coming back to check out Kentaro, and I let out an audible groan when I saw this. So let's address the elephant in the room real fast. This anime is definitely intended for mature audiences. Audiences of the Gooner variety.
Once in a while, things catch your eye.
So I'm gonna try to look at the anime outside of the suggestive content to see if it's really a good watch. So this mystery lady gives Kentaro 10k for his troubles and to fix his bike, so he heads off again. He goes to a local bike shop to get his ride fixed, but the old man who owns the place is suddenly swarmed by Yakuza members. Kentaro sees this and goes the other fucking way. Kentaro finally gets to his new job, where he's greeted by an all-woman software company. Unfortunately, he's not there to help with anything important, so he's assigned to clean the toilets. Yes! He has trouble controlling himself, and yeah.
Oh, my queen! Oh, you're so naughty!
So the head of the company gives him one more chance before firing him, which leads into him harassing the rest of the woman there too. It's funny because his jump in rationale and the lead up to him acting out was hilarious.
Yes! Yes! I love programming!
The president gives him another chance, but this time Kentaro takes it a bit more seriously. He asks a bunch of questions to the other girls while also taking notes. But when he sees one of the computers on after hours, he turns it off. Like, you can't even be mad at him in this line of thinking here. But he didn't know that the head honcho was putting in some overtime to get their new program out by the next day. So just as the deadline is about to come, Kentaro drops off a backup disk with the program he deleted. But the only difference is, this one was made from the ground up, along with some enhancements. But before the president could say thank you, Kentaro was already on the way to his next location. I think this was a great first episode, even for an OVA. Keep in mind, this anime was made in 1995, but it's still incredibly funny. Just going off of this episode alone, you'd think there would be a full series made out of this, but no. But let's get into the rest of the OVA. This one starts off with Kentaro meeting a new girl. He's working at the campaign headquarters for a running politician. One of the workers at the HQ requests a day off during peak season, but here comes Kentaro to save the day. He takes the old lady's spot to clean their house, but this is mainly to see the girl from earlier. Man, here we go with the toilets again.
You a freaky ass nigga!
He finally is able to meet the girl in question when she invites Kentaro to her room. Okay, so here's where things get weird. This girl's a high schooler, and he is fantasizing about her. I think this goes without saying you're
Dude,
going
this guy's
to jail.
going away for life.
But here is where we find out that the girl is just doing this as an act. And she's doing it because... Actually, I don't know why she's doing this shit. Because the last person who was flirting with her got killed. And this person was younger than Kentaro. I'm pretty sure this other person was another high schooler. So the Yakuza killed a high schooler. And nobody bats an eye about it. Like, what the hell? I'm sorry to go off on a tangent here, but this reminds me of the girl from the Ghibli movie Only Yesterday. I think that was the movie. Ocean Waves. No, it was Ocean Waves. And she was just crying. She was just an asshole to the guy the whole time. I don't know why that reminded me of that. I think they just look the same. Anyway, go watch that video. Go watch the Ghibli video, please. Kentaro runs into her again, where she intentionally tries to get him to feel her up. She hands him a note telling him to meet up at her house. And he goes. By the way, she is in the 10th grade learning how to multiply fractions. Like, you're a dumbass. Kentaro goes along with it because he actually thinks he's tutoring her. But as the tutoring heats up, the girl steals his notebook and is greeted to a shocking set of news. Kentaro has read her like a book. No, that pun wasn't intended. So after seeing this, she decides to frame him for her piss poor personality. Like, what the fuck? You're actually a terrible person. Kentaro ends up kissing her and admits to being in love with her. Okay, that's actually insane. Because even if you were trying to protect her for whatever reason, Kentaro kissed a minor.
Nigga. I heard you like little boys and girls, nigga.
This one ends with Kentaro being seen off by Naoto, where she asks him to take her, I don't know how to put this, but this one is very weird, especially towards the end. I'm not even gonna get into it. Episode 3 sees Kentaro as a part-time chef. The place is run by a little family that lets Kentaro live there while he works. The daughter, Noriko, is noticed by the man who saved her father from the car accident he was in. He actually asks Noriko to marry him, and she agrees with a little bit of sweet talking. Kentaro sees him later on, where he finds out that the accident wasn't an accident, and the guy is doing all this for the noodle shop. Well, Kentaro hears this and blows his cover, pleading to the man not to screw over the noodle shop. He ends up getting curb stomped. To make up for it, the next day, he kisses Kentaro. Noriko is still on the fence, and now they have this misunderstanding scene trope that everybody loves. Kentaro confronts the man one more time, but this time, Noriko is able to hear everything. The next day, right before Kentaro is set to leave, he talks to Noriko one last time. And it ended up being super wholesome. He's able to reassure her about what she thinks about herself, and that's that. I think I definitely like this one for the pathos it has. By now, we know that Kentaro is just a really straightforward guy. He went out of his way to make sure that these people he was staying with didn't get jacked up by the shady business dude. Honestly, this was one of the best episodes so far outside of the first one. Episode 4, Kentaro becomes a swimming instructor. He doesn't know how to swim, so he ends up challenging the head honcho for a coaching job. He finds out that the head coach was a gold medalist. This one is just mainly funny. He keeps trying to impress the coach, but then he gets a boner and then promptly gets fired. But Kentaro was able to leave his mark on the swimming classes by showing the staff that the kids just need to have fun. Episode 5, Kentaro meets this motorcycle babe. This one starts off freaky as hell though. This time, he's a traditional servant. He sees the motorcycle babe again, who lives in this fancy estate. There's also a toilet in this one, and you just know Kentaro can't control himself. I think that he gets fired or something, so he camps outside of the estate, hoping that the people will hire him again. He runs into Reiko, where she challenges him to a race. Take a guess on what you think the race is for. The race is pretty cool, but Kentaro fucking dies. Wait, I'm lying. He lost his hat though. The last episode is the only one I've never seen before. Kentaro this time around is working at an animation studio. I think this one is supposed to be a bit meta just from the intro. All the dudes are sleeping when he gets there. This animation studio is working on some erotic film, but what's really cool is how much they talk about the animation process and techniques. It really makes you think about how much work it took to make this very anime. If I had to guess, this was some sort of homage to the people who created this series. Just as the episode was getting a little wholesome, there's a toilet moment. Just as Kentaro is making himself at home at the studio is falling behind and the deadline for the movie is quickly approaching. Just as everything looks bleak, Kentaro makes some calls to the girls from the previous episodes. I thought this was the coolest thing about the series. Seeing all of them help Kentaro because he was genuinely a great person to all of them. The film is able to come out with no problems, and the girls go looking for him again while Kentaro rides into the sunset. I think I like this anime a lot more than you probably expect. I think the main thing I liked about it is how it balances humor and the wholesome Chungus moments. Like, nothing about Kentaro is fake. He's acting genuinely throughout the whole anime, as deplorable as that may be sometimes. But each episode shows how kind-hearted he truly is. I think this anime really goes to show, if you're a good person, you'll leave an impact on the people around you, and they'll naturally want to help you and be there for you. Of course, we all have our moments, but at the end of the day, we're all here to learn and experience as much as we can. This show's freaky as hell though, don't watch it with anybody around.